Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nastapradeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naisriki. So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 24, chanting the song sung by Lord Shiva. Text. Text 45 and 46. The Lord's beauty resembles the dark cloud during the rainy season. As the rain falls, glisten, his bodily features also glisten. Indeed, he is the sum total of all beauties. The Lord had 4 arms and an exquisitely beauty face with eyes like lotus petals, a beautiful, highly raised nose, and mind attracting smile, a beautiful forehead, and equally beautiful and fully decorated ears. Text 47 and 48. The Lord is super excellently beautiful on account of his open and mercifully smile and his sidelong glance upon his devotees. His black hair is curly, and his garments, waving in the wind, appear like flying saffron pollen from lotus flowers. His glittering earrings, shining helmets, bangles, garlands, ankle bells, waist belt, and various other bodily ornaments combine with conch shell, disc, club, and the lotus flower to increase the natural beauty of the Kaustuba pearl on his chest. Text 49. The Lord has shoulders just like a lion's. Upon these shoulders are garlands, necklace, and epaulets, and all these are always glittering. Beside this, there is a beauty of a Kaustuba money pearl, and on the dark chest of the Lord, there are the steeds named Srivatsa, which are the sign of the goddess of fortune. The glittering of these steeds exhales the beauty of the golden steeds on the golden testing stone. Indeed, such beauty defeats a golden testing stone. Text 50th. The Lord abdomen is beautiful due to the 3 ribs in the flesh. Being so round, his abdomen resembles the leaf of the banyan tree. And when he exhales and inhales, the movement of the ribs appear very, very beautiful. The coils within the navel of the Lord are so deep that it appears that the entire universe spouted out of it and yet again wishes to go back. Text 51. The lower part of the Lord's waist is dark and covered with a yellow garment and belt bedecked with the golden embroidery work. His systematical lotus feet and the clasps, ties, and the joints of his legs are extraordinarily beautiful. Indeed, the Lord's entire body appeared to be well built. Text 52. My dear Lord, your 2 lotus feet are so beautiful that they appear like 2 blossoming petals of the lotus flowers, which grows during the autumn season. Indeed, the nails of your lotus feet emanate such a great effulgence that they immediately, despite all the darkness in the heart of the conditioned soul, my dear Lord, kindly show me that form of yours which always dissipates all kinds of darkness in the heart of a devotee. My dear Lord, you are the supreme spiritual master of everyone. Therefore, all conditioned souls covered with the darkness of the ignorance can be enlightened by you as a spiritual master. Text 53. My dear Lord, Those who desire to purify their existence must always engage in the meditation upon your lotus feet, as described above. Those who are serious about executing their occupational duties and who want freedom from fear must take to this process of Bhakti Yoga. Text 54. My dear Lord, a king in charge of the heavenly kingdom is also desires to obtaining the ultimate goal of life, devotional service. Similarly, you are the ultimate destination of those who identify themselves with you. Aham Brahmasma, Brahmasmi. However, it is very difficult for them to attain you, whereas a devotee can very easily attain your lordship. Text 55. My dear Lord, a pure devotional service is even difficult for liberated person to discharge, but the devotional service alone can satisfy you, who will take to other process of self-realization if he is actually serious about the perfection of life. Text 56. Similarly, by expansion of his eyebrows, invisible time personified can immediately vanquish the entire universe. However, formidable time does not time does not approach the devotee who has taken complete shelter at your lotus feet. Text 57. If one by chance associate with the devotee, even for a fraction of a moment, he no longer is subject to attraction by the result of karma or jnana. What interest then can he have in the benedictions of the demigods who are subject to the laws of birth and death? Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you so much, Radha and Murli. Hare Krishna. Vamsi Prabhu, when you're ready, you can start, Prabhuji. Start with Mangalacharan prayer. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्तस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादि सतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा. So we are continuing to hear from Srimad Bhagavatam. Lord Shiva is instructing the Prachetas, and he is describing because the Prachetas wanted to achieve perfection in life. Lord Shiva, as an ideal spiritual master, he is describing to meditate on the Supreme Lord, and on that context, he is describing the features of the Supreme Lord. So we are continuing in that theme. Text 45 and 46, the big purport, probably the most important purport for all of us who are practicing bhakti. Srila Prabhupada packs a lot of things, but I'll just cover some important points. But all of us have to study this purport very carefully. In text, so in this verse, again, Lord Shiva is continuing to describe about the bodily features of Krishna, that He resembles a dark rain cloud, right? We have always heard heard about his features, and his eyes have lotus petals, etc., and an attractive smile, beautiful forehead, and equally beautiful and fully decorated ears. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, Lord wears a peacock feather in his hair, and his bodily complexion is just like a blackish cloud. In Kandarbha Koti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham. Krishna's beauty is so pleasing that not even millions upon millions of cupids can compare to it. Krishna, that's why he's called Madan Mohan. Some of us went to DC few days ago, right? Radha Madan Mohan. Madan Mohan is who can even conquer Cupid because Krishna is so beautiful. The Lord's form as Vishnu is decorated in all opulence. Therefore, Lord Shiva is trying to see that most opulent form of Narayana or Vishnu. So, what form that Lord Shiva is describing to the Prachetas is Lord Vishnu. Generally, the worship of the Lord begins with the worship of Narayana or Vishnu, whereas the worship of Lord Krishna and Radha is most confidential. We have to study Srila Prabhupada's purport very scrutinizingly and carefully. Every line of Prabhupada is very important for us. Srila Prabhupada is saying everybody should begin worship, even though we are worshipping Radha Krishna in the temple worship has to be, Prabhupada writes in this purport that it has to be as though we are worshipping Lakshmi Narayana or Lord Narayana, not actually Radha Krishna, because it's most confidential. We cannot think that I am so elevated, I am actually worshipping Radha Krishna. No. Lord Narayana is worshipable by the Pancharatrika Vidhi or regulative principles, whereas Lord Krishna is worshipable by the Bhagavad Vidhi. No one can worship Lord in Bhagavad Vidhi without going through the regulations of Pancharatrika Vidhi. Actually, neophyte devotees worship the Lord according to Pancharatrika Vidhi or regulative principles enjoined in Narada Pancharatra. Radha Krishna cannot be approached by neophyte devotees. Therefore, temple worship according to regulative principles is offered to Lakshmi Narayana. Although there may be Radha Krishna Vigraha, the worship of neophyte devotees is acceptable as Lakshmi Narayana worship. Worship according to Pancharatrika Vidhi is called Vidhi Marg, and worship according to Bhagavad Vidhi principles is called Raga Marg. The principles of Raga Marg are especially meant for devotees who are elevated to the Vrindavan platform. So now this needs to be understood very in the spirit that Srila Prabhupada is trying to give us. First thing, many devotees, we don't want to name anybody or criticize anybody. It is a general tendency for us to think that Srila Prabhupada has come to give us only Vaidhi Bhakti. After practicing for a few years, let me go to some other guru, some other teacher. No. Srila Prabhupada, one Prabhupada disciple, he is not in this planet. He says, Prabhupada has given us everything for us to perfect in this life. Not just Vaidhi Bhakti. Many think that, oh, let me go and read some other book, some other Gaudiya Vaishnava book. No. Everything is there in Prabhupada's books. That disciple of Srila Prabhupada, he says, we just need to upgrade our adhikar to see every line of Prabhupada's purport, what he is trying to give us. He says that everything is there in Srila Prabhupada's books. And Prabhupada just didn't give Vaidhi Bhakti or Vidhi Marg for us. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, he says that Krishna and Vrindavan can be worshipped only in Ragamarg. And Srila Prabhupada, when he was translating Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter by chapter, whenever he gets time, he paused Srimad Bhagavatam in 1972 and he took 18 months to completely translate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Why? If Prabhupada had to give only Vaidhi Marg or Vidhi Marg or Vaidhi Bhakti, why did he translate Chaitanya Charitamrita? We have to contemplate ourselves, which means that Prabhupada gave us everything for us to gradually progress, not artificially jump. So when Prabhupada says that Rag Marg is for Vrindavan platform, it doesn't mean that I practice for a few years, okay, I practice enough, so I'm qualified for Vaidhi or Rag Marg. It doesn't work like that. Vrindavan platform means following in the footsteps of the Goswamis. And how do we do that? We can do that only by following our predecessor acharyas, how they have practiced bhakti, how our Goswamis have practiced bhakti. And that only our ISKCON Guru Varga is teaching for us. So we have to follow them, not according to our own whims. Oh, you have practiced bhakti for a decade or 15 years, now it's time for Ragma. It doesn't work like that. Unless and until we are blessed by realized souls and our Guru, my spiritual master, he says that all our so-called meditations is all hallucination. It is all hallucination. It is all an activity of our mind. It is not real. I may be thinking, oh, I'm just meditating on Vrindavan pastime. But it is an activity of our mind. Prabhupada says in the beginning of Nectar of Instruction that bhakti begins when we control our mind and our senses. And if I'm doing bhakti on the activity of our mind, it is not real bhakti. It is not Vrindavan platform. Rag Marg is a very, very, very high and advanced platform. It doesn't mean to demean ourselves. I am not there yet. So one thing that we have to convince ourselves that practicing Vaidhi Bhakti is not so degraded. Sometimes we think, oh, practicing Vaidhi Bhakti is so low. So many devotees are practicing very, very advanced levels. Well, His Grace Mukunda Datta Prabhuji, who came few days ago, he was speaking. During his class, he mentioned, you can perfect your life in 60 to 100 years in Kali Yuga. I mean, how many years I have been practicing Bhakti? Not even a decade. And I'm thinking I can practice Rag Marg. I'm cheating myself. So we have to be very careful. Patience is so important in Bhakti. And guidance of Guru is important, most important. So we should not jump. That is what Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport again. Without serving Krishna according to Vidhi Marg, regular to principles of Pancharatrika Vidhi, unscrupulous persons want to jump immediately to Rag Marg principles. Such persons are called Sahajiya. We don't want to criticize anybody. We don't want to call out anybody's names. But we have to be careful for ourselves. If we see such things, we have to distance ourselves. We should not hear from such people. It pollutes our consciousness. Literally. Simply by hearing, we will know whether a person is really genuinely advanced or not. How do we know that? How do we test whether a person is really genuinely advanced or not? When we hear to a devotee, whether that devotee is actually speaking the true principles that the previous acharyas and our Guru Varga are speaking, they will simply repeat. They will not jump from one acharya to another acharya, bypassing another acharya. If I bypass, I don't want to hear from that person. Because none of our acharyas did that. We are cheating ourselves, we are cheating the devotees who are coming to hear also. There is no potency in that katha. They may fascinate with some facts and some Sanskrit poetry or so many other things, but there is no potency in it. There is no transformation of heart for the devotees who are hearing. There are also demons who enjoy depicting Krishna and his pastimes with the gopis, taking advantage of Krishna by their licentious character. These demons who print books and write lyrics on Rag Marg principles are surely on the way to hell. Unfortunately, they lead others also down with them. Devotees in Krishna consciousness should be very careful to avoid such demons. You see, Srila Prabhupada is writing this. We have to be very careful from whom we are hearing. Not just here and there. Right? First, we have to really understand the mood of Srila Prabhupada and study his books extremely carefully, thinking that he is really trying to say everything for us. He is giving us everything. We have to have that conviction. That Prabhupada disciple, he says that always the other side looks greener for people. We don't see that everything is there here. For us, the other side always looks green. Right? So we have to be extremely watchful. Prabhupada again writes, the nectar of devotion, full instructions are given about Vidhi Marg of Radha Krishna or Lakshmi Narayan. Although there are 64 kinds of offenses one can commit in Vidhi Marg, in Rag Marg worship there is no consideration of such offenses because the devotees on that platform are very much elevated and there is no question of offense. So in Rag Marg, there is no offense. That is why Srila Prabhupada writes in Chaitanya Charitamrita that when a devotee wants to go and visit Vrindavan, it is not wrong to visit Vrindavan. That is sometimes its misconception. Oh, you are practicing regulative principles, so you should not go to Vrindavan. No. Every one of us have to visit Vrindavan. But what is the spirit? It is not that I go and enjoy Vrindavan. Vrindavan is a place for us to go and purify ourselves because we are practicing regulative principles, bhakti. Prabhupada writes in Chaitanya Charitamrita that those who are not on the platform of Rag Marg should not stay in Vrindavan for more than 2 months. Why? Prabhupada wants. He says that because we don't understand the mood of the devotees in Vrindavan or the Brajavasis, they are on the platform of Rag Marg already. And they are practicing spontaneously bhakti. No regulative principles, not like us, rising like so early in the morning and chanting and worshipping according to perfect rules and regulations. No, they are spontaneously worshipping Krishna out of love. It will be bewildering for us to really fathom also, not even try to understand the being. So Prabhupada wants, if we try to fathom it, we will be bewildered and we will commit offenses. Why? Because we will try to compare their worship with our regular principle worship, and they will say, what kind of worship is this? Offense. Because any offense we commit in the Holy Dham is multiplied by 1,000 times, and any bhakti we do in the Holy Dham is multiplied by 1,000 times. That is why Srila Prabhupada wants, if you really want to visit the Holy Dham, we have to be in the proper consciousness. So this purport is very important. The theme of this purport, I'm not reading every single essence. I just gave the essence of this purport. But every one of us have to study this purport line by line and understand. The theme is Prabhupada is not derating us or degrading us from the path of Ragmarg. No, he wants all of us to eventually come to the path of Ragmarg under the guidance of a guru. But don't jump. Very dangerous. If you jump, Prabhupada writes, we become sahajiya. Sahajiya means imitation. I don't want to become an imitationist. Neither we are attracting ourselves or we are attracting Krishna. Krishna is not attracted by such bhakti. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not attracted by such bhakti. Because it is the activity of the mind. Our job is to go beyond the mind and the senses. In text 47 and 48, I spent a little bit more time because it's the most important purport in all of today's translations. In the next verse, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes that Krishna's smile and sidelong glances at his devotees specifically applies to his dealings with the gopis. Krishna is always in a joking mood when he increases the feelings of conjugal rasa in the hearts of the gopis. And this also needs to be understood. It is not a mundane relationship between a man and a woman. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita explains that what is actually lust and what is actually love. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami explains that lust means to satisfy my senses. That is lust. So the attraction between a man and a woman in this world is lust because I want to enjoy my senses by looking at an attractive person. That is lust. But actual love means to give pleasure to the senses of Krishna. That is the mood of the gopis and the gopas and the Vrajavasis and everyone. Am I in this platform? No. Right? So when I come to the platform of completely dedicating all my activities for the pleasure of Krishna, that is a mood of Vrindavan. That is Vrindavan platform. That is what the gopis are. Right? And in the text 49, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, the curling hair on the shoulders of a lion appears very, very beautiful. You have seen, right? Lions have long hair. It's on the shoulder. Similarly, the shoulders of the Lord are just like a lion, very broad. We hear, right? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's bodily complexion is also like this. Very broad chest. And the necklace and the garlands along with the Kaustuba pearl necklace combine to excel the beauty of a lion. It excels. Krishna's beauty excels even that of a lion. The chest of the Lord is streaked with Srivatsa lines, the sign of goddess of fortune, Mother Lakshmi's because she wanted to also come and dance with Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita explains. But because Krishna said that you have to give up the post of Lakshmi and come as a mediocre village girl Gopi, and then I will allow you to dance. She practiced so much austerities in Vrindavan, in one of the forests. But she was not given entrance because she was not willing to give her opulent post. So Krishna finally ended up giving her the post of Srivatsa marking or streak on his chest. The black siliceous stone on which gold is rubbed to test its value always looks very beautiful, being streaked with gold lines. Yet the chest of the Lord excels even such a stone in the beauty. Krishna is beautiful than every single aspect that is there in this creation. Text 50, the whole universe is born out of lotus stem, which is sprouted out of the navel of Krishna, where Lord Brahma sprouts. And it appears that the whole universe again withdraws itself into the same navel attracted by the Lord's beauty, Prabhupada writes. The details of the Lord especially indicate the personality of Godhead. That's again Prabhupada is writing that although the impersonalists are always engaged in the worship of Lord Shiva, they are unable to understand that the prayers offered by Lord Shiva to the bodily features of Lord Vishnu. Prabhupada is bringing in logic here because the impersonalists, they always meditate on the formless feature of Krishna. But the impersonalists always actually pray to Lord Shiva, but who is Lord Shiva praying to? He is meditating on the bodily features of Lord Vishnu. Prabhupada is saying, so eventually God is actually having a personal form, not formless. That is just a partial understanding. That's not the complete understanding. In 51, Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport that Lord Shiva is one of the 12 Mahajans. Swayambhu Narada Shambhu Kumara Kapilo Manu Pralado Janako Bhishmo Balir Vayasaki Vayam. Vayam is Yamaraj. He says this, that all of us are the 12 Mahajans. And if we understand Bhagavad Tattva, if we want to understand about Krishna, we have to hear from one of these 12 Mahajans. Then our life becomes perfect. Not just hearing, we have to follow their instructions. Then our life becomes perfect. The impersonalists who generally worship Lord Shiva should learn the transcendental Sachidananda Vigraha of Krishna. Here Lord Shiva kindly describes the details of the bodily features. And in text 52, Lord Shiva has thus described the bodily features of Krishna authoritatively. Now he wants to see the lotus feet of Krishna. Now you see, Prabhupada writes a very important point in this. When a devotee wants to see the transcendental form of Krishna, he begins his meditation on the Lord's body by first looking at the feet of Krishna. So when we enter into the temple and when we see the deities, we have to take darshan from the lotus feet. That is what Srila Prabhupada writes in this purport. Similarly, it is therefore suggested by Lord Shiva that one should first try to see the lotus feet of Krishna. This also means if one is serious about reading Srimad Bhagavatam, he must first seriously study the first 2 cantos. Because Padma Purana explains that the whole 12 cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam, starting from the first second, goes until the smiling face of Krishna, which is the 10th canto, represents all the bodily features of Krishna. And the first canto represents the lotus feet. That is why Srila Prabhupada is stressing that anyone who's serious, why we have to be serious? Because Srimad Bhagavatam can give us prema. Srimad Bhagavatam can give us love for Krishna. It is there in Srimad Bhagavatam itself, because it is not different from Krishna. So it is not an ordinary literature. Okay? It is directly giving bhakti for anyone who's sincere and without non-duplicitous or an envious nature. If somebody studies Srimad Bhagavatam, it is for sure that they will meet a sadhu and they will obtain bhakti. It is a fact. The lotus flower itself is compared to the lotus feet of Krishna. The petals are compared to the nails of the Lord. The nails of Krishna are very bright, as stated in Brahma Samhita. Ananda Chinmaya Rasad Ujjvala Vigrahasya. Every limb of Krishna is made of Ananda Chinmaya Sad Ujjvala. Every limb is eternally bright. As sunshine dissipates the darkness of this material world, the effulgence emanating from the body of the Lord immediately drives up the darkness in the heart of the conditioned soul. That is why we have to meditate on the lotus feet of Krishna. Even we saw in the third canto when the Kumaras went to the Vaikuntha planet, and when they were shot by Jay and Vijay, and then they had this argument and cursing and counter cursing and everything. Lord Vishnu comes immediately. Hey, what is happening? That time when Kumaras actually saw the lotus feet of Krishna, and when they smelled the tulsi aroma of the tulsi leaves, their mind completely changed. And that is what Prabhupada is writing here. Immediately dries up the darkness in the heart of the conditioned soul. Immediately dries up. Yeah. So again, Prabhupada is writing we have to study the first two cantos very seriously. And Prabhupada then writes that in Bhagavad Gita it is said that in order to make spiritual progress, one must become fearless. And when we can actually become fearless, Prabhupada writes also that one becomes fearless, actually becomes self-realized, and immediately becomes joyful. And when is that state? The bhaktas, that is Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. Very, very advanced stage it is. To actually become fearless is when we become a pure devotee of Krishna. That is when we actually become fearless. By practicing Bhakti Yoga, one becomes fearless and joyful. Unless one becomes fearless and joyful, he cannot understand the signs of Krishna. Prabhupada is writing. When one is so liberated, he can really understand the transcendental features of the form of Krishna. That is why Srila Prabhupada writes in one of the purports that when we try to meditate on the form of the features of Krishna, because our mind is agitated at this point in time, we cannot focus for a long time. We cannot. That is why it is best for us to focus on the holy name. It is very easy to hear the transcendental sound vibration that we are chanting. Very easy. And that is the most effective way to actually focus on chanting than trying to meditate on the features of Krishna. Because Prabhupada is writing only when one soul is liberated. Liberated is on the stage of bhava. I am not in bhava stage. We cannot bypass the 9 stages of bhakti. Shraddha, Sadhu, Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti. When all our contaminations are almost cleared. Nishtha, then Nishtha, fixed devotional service. Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava, Prema. We cannot bypass these stages. We cannot. So in text 53, it is said that the transcendental name, form, pastimes and entourage of Krishna cannot be appreciated by blunt material senses. We have heard this many times from Srila Prabhupada. Therefore, one has to engage himself in bhakti so that the senses may be purified and one can see Krishna. With purified senses, we can see Krishna. Rishikena Rishiketa Sevanam Bhakti Ruchate. Only by purifying our senses, by practicing bhakti, by practicing sadhana bhakti, eventually Krishna, it is only by Krishna's mercy he can show himself. It is not that I practice bhakti for a few years, then I am qualified to see Krishna. Krishna, by his mercy, if he wants to show himself to us, he will give us darshan. And Prabhupada writes in the purport, the real business of the yogis is to think of the lotus feet of Krishna. Lord Shiva therefore advises that one who is actually serious about perfection or purification must engage himself in this type of meditation. Anybody who is practicing mystic yoga actually should meditate on the lotus feet of Krishna, not on some impersonal feature. So, Prabhupada also writes in the purport that the actual purpose of practicing Varnashram Dharma is to actually must be supported along with Bhakti Yoga. Because simply just practicing Varnashram Dharma, okay, my quality is to be a Brahman, so let me be a Brahman, let me be a Vaishya, let me do cow production, let me do business. That is just Varnashram Dharma. But Prabhupada actually wanted Daivi Varnashram system, which means I may be doing my everyday activity according to my nature, as a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or a Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, or a Sannyas. But that has to be coupled with bhakti. Only then it will lead to the ultimate goal of realizing Krishna. And Prabhupada quotes from where he is telling all this. He's quoting Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. The conversation between Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Ramananda Rai. He's not going into the details, but Prabhupada is giving that when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes to South India tour and he meets Sri Ramananda Rai, and when both embrace each other and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sits in front of Ramananda Rai and asks him to say what one needs to do to perfect his life. Sri Ramananda Rai, he starts that you need to perform Varnashram Dharma. And Prabhupada writes, Eho Vaya. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, that is external. Go further. And Prabhupada gives a purport for that. Why? It is not that Varnashram Dharma is rejected. Prabhupada writes that Lord Chaitanya wanted to impress upon Ramananda Rai that simply by executing duties of Varnashram Dharma, one is not guaranteed liberation. Finally, Ramananda Rai referred to the process of Bhakti Yoga. What is that Bhakti Yoga? Sthane sthita shrutigatam tanuvat manopi. Regardless of one's condition of life, if he practices Bhakti Yoga, which begins with hearing the transcendental messages of Krishna through the mouths of devotees, he gradually conquers the unconquerable Krishna. This is the prayer of Lord Brahma. In this Ramananda Rai quotes. That's when Mahaprabhu is a little bit pacified. Then, of course, he wants him to go higher, but this is the beginning. So, Prabhupada writes in a purport that the conclusion is that if one is serious about liberation, he not only should execute the occupational duties of Varnashram Dharma, we have to do our duties, but also engage in Bhakti Yoga. How? By hearing from a realized soul. Not here and there. Hearing from a realized soul. Who is a realized soul? A realized soul is one who doesn't waste time. We see so many ISKCON gurus. They don't waste time. His Grace Mukunda Datta Prabhuji that day gave a home program. As soon as the home program is over, he puts his hands in the bead bag, immediately starts chanting. Not wasting a single time. When he came to home for prasadam, every single question he asked was related to bhakti. Not asking or talking anything outside the realm of bhakti. This is a realized soul. This is a pure devotee. So we should hear from such personalities. When we hear from such personalities, it creates tremendous transformation within our heart, provided we are receptive. Okay, text 54. As stated in Brahma Samhita, Vedeshu Durlabam Adurlabam Atma Bhakto. Vedeshu Durlabam. Prabhupada often quotes this. In fact, in one of the classes, Prabhupada has tears when he's quoting this. Why? Prabhupada is the most humble. A pure devotee is the most humble person you can ever see. When Prabhupada actually quotes this verse, he has tears because he says that Vedeshu Durlabam. Even by studying the Vedic literatures, we cannot understand Krishna. But Adurlabam, the same Vedas which are Durlabha to understand, very difficult to understand, becomes Adurlabha. How? Atma Bhakta. By the mercy of a devotee. By the mercy of a pure devotee, the same Vedic literature which is unfathomable, very difficult to understand, becomes easily understood. Why? Because of the mercy of a devotee. Atma Bhakta. Because he is remembering his Guru. Prabhupada gives all the credit to his Guru. Never takes any credit for himself. Right? That is the way to understand Vedic literatures. And Prabhupada writes, those who identify themselves as Aham Brahmasmi, who think that I am Brahman, also ultimately desire to perfect liberation in Vaikuntha planets or Golokunda. This is so amazing, right? Even people who are so-called Mayavadis in this world or Brahmavadis, who want to merge in the impersonal feature of Krishna, they eventually want to attain Golok Vrindavan or Vaikuntha because there is no Ananda feature in Brahman. They may get peace for some time. In fact, I heard, I don't have a praman or a reference for this. I heard some preacher mention that eventually when somebody is in Brahman, because they are not experiencing bliss, maybe few may fall down into this material world again because they want that Ananda feature again. But some very fortunate souls, sometimes it seems Lord Shiva may pass through the impersonal Brahman and he may be chanting Krishna's glories. And some fortunate souls may get attracted to that. And by Lord Shiva's mercy, he or she, that soul might enter into the spiritual kingdom or Vaikuntha. I've heard this. I don't have a reference, but I'm just mentioning because I heard this. One can understand the Supreme Personality as he is only by devotional service. Bhaktyamam abhijanati. Only by bhakti. And when he is in full consciousness of Krishna by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of Krishna. Only by full consciousness. Only by Ananya Bhakti, unalloyed Bhakti, that Krishna is everything for us, we can enter into the kingdom of God. Text 55, these are very, very big purports. I'm extremely sorry for going a little bit overboard, just 2 or 3 more purports. The word Satatam refers to transcendentalists. There are 3 kinds of transcendentalists. Prabhupada is writing that the Jnani, Yogi and Bhakta, out of these 3, Bhakta is selected the most suitable candidate to approach Krishna. Foolish people sometimes maintain that God may be attained in any way. Oh, you practice Jnana, you practice Karma, you practice Jnana, you will attain the same goal. No. But here, Lord Shiva himself is clearly stating in text 55, we can quote if somebody is saying in Bhagavad Gita, oh, you practice any form of yoga, you will attain the same perfection. No. Here in 55, Lord Shiva is saying that it is impossible to attain the mercy of Krishna by means but Bhakti Yoga. Only by Bhakti. Ekanta Bhakta ko vanchet in the Sanskrit. Ekanta Bhakta. One-pointed Bhakti to Krishna. Ekeha Kurunandana. Only by one-pointed Bhakti to Krishna, we can practice Bhakti and we can please Krishna. There is no other yoga practice that is possible. Confirmed by Lord Shiva. In text 56, everything in this material world is subject to perish in due course of time. Because text 56 theme is time factor doesn't affect devotees. That is the theme. Time doesn't affect devotees. Everything in this material world is subject to perish in due course of time. However, all the strength of the time cannot hamper the activities of a devotee, for a devotee takes complete shelter under the lotus feet of the Lord. When does time doesn't affect us? When we take complete shelter of Krishna. When we completely surrender ourselves to Krishna, then time doesn't affect. But until then, we have to respect time. We have to rise up early in the morning. I cannot think that, oh, I am a liberated soul, I can chant anytime during the day. No, I am a conditioned soul. I have to rise up early in the morning when it is in the mode of goodness, so that with not much disturbance, I can focus on the holy name and chant nicely. A pure devotee may not, he will follow to set examples to others, but sometimes he may not follow all this. He may be chanting anytime, so we should not judge them because time doesn't affect them. This is the reason. We may be seeing them chanting all throughout the day. They may not be able to rise up, maybe due to health reasons. But that doesn't mean that they are not surrendered to Krishna. They are surrendered. That is why they can act like that. But we cannot imitate them. We should be careful. We should be honest with ourselves. That is how bhakti begins. Bhakti begins with honesty within ourselves, not to judge others. Let me be honest with myself. I'm struggling in so many areas, but let me do the things that I'm comfortable with, that I'm able to do. So we have to be honest with ourselves and seek guidance. So even if a devotee cannot completely execute bhakti, in his next life he begins from the point he left off. So Prabhupada is giving some praman that it's okay. We can be honest with ourselves, and even if we are not able to practice full determined bhakti and by the mercy of Krishna enter into the spiritual kingdom in this life, Prabhupada says it's okay. Don't panic. It's not the end. So Krishna is so kind. He will give us another chance from where we left off. It's not that everything is erased, just like a material life. Radhesham Prabhuji says, we may be a PhD in this life. And next life, again, we have to start from LKG, UKG, start studying alphabets and everything else. But spiritual life is not like that. Wherever we stop, we begin from there. So we don't have to worry or be fearful of any condition. And in text 57, last verse, Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, thus for a devotee, Kaivalya Sukha or merging into existence of Krishna is hellish. We don't want to merge into Krishna because we are, Prabhupada writing, that is, a bhakta considers it suicidal to lose his individuality and merge into the effulgence of Brahman. It's committing like suicide because we don't want to serve Krishna and we want to become God. That is why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never encouraged this kind of bhakti. And Prabhupada also writes, indeed, a bhakta even considers promotion to upper planetary systems no better than will of the wisp. It is a phantasmagoria. Prabhupada writes phantasmagoria in another purport. It's just like some imagination. That is why Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur prays, even if you want me to continue and come back to this material world, please make me an insignificant insect in the house of your devotee. Don't make me even Lord Brahma. I don't even want to become Lord Brahma, who is averse to you in bhakti. Not the Brahma in this universe. In this universe, the Lord Brahma is our Acharya. He is our Guru. He is a Bhakta. He is a pure devotee. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur is praying, even if you want me to take birth in some other universe, please make me an insect in the house of your devotee. But don't make me a Brahma who is averse to you. Apparently there are, according to Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So just make sure that I'm in the house of your devotee, whatever form I'm in. This is Bhaktivinoda Thakur's humility. In the end, Srila Prabhupada says, this is the finishing touch of Srila Prabhupada's purport today. One can be fully satisfied simply by bhakti, which is the result of association with a devotee. And what kind of association? Without being blessed by a pure devotee, no one can be fully satisfied, nor can anyone understand the transcendental position of Krishna. I am reading this again for ourselves to meditate for today. Without being blessed by a pure devotee, no one, when Prabhupada writes no one, it is no one. We cannot think I am an exception. No one can be fully satisfied, nor can anyone understand the transcendental position of Krishna. That is why every day we chant, Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado, Yasya prasadat nagati kutopi, Dhyayam stuvam satya Yasya sri sandhyam, Vande Guru Shri Charanaravind. Only by the mercy of a pure devotee, when that pure devotee becomes satisfied, we can really understand Krishna. So our only business in life is to simply follow the orders of the pure devotee, nothing else. That's all we need in our life. If somebody has not submitted himself or herself to a guru, that is the first thing we have to do, is to take shelter of a bona fide guru. Guru is tattva, not one person. Recently we were in Sadhu Sangha. So many pure devotees were there. So many pure devotees that Prabhupada has produced. When we hear to them, we really understand that they are pure devotees. There is no shortage of pure devotee in this world. So our first business, Srila Rupa Goswami says in Nectar of Devotion, is to take shelter of a pure devotee. If we have not found a pure devotee in our life, let us pray to Krishna today, right now. Krishna will answer our prayers. I'm stopping here. I'm sorry I went a few minutes overboard because these are very important purports of Srila Prabhupada. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you so much, Vamsi, wonderful class, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.